Consistency is fucking exhausting. Consistency is a different kind of difficult. I've been thinking a lot about consistency because it's something I struggle with. Obviously, that's a fairly normal thing, I think. But it's especially difficult for me. When I have succeeded or know that I'm going to succeed. And also when I feel like I'm not going to succeed. I know there's a little bit of a contradiction there, but so if I'm already working at something and I'm already succeeding at it in some way, for me, this was like one example is like kind of like the music industry. One example is like Twitch streaming. I was consistent in this pocket right in between where it didn't feel like I was failing at it, but it also didn't feel like I was succeeding at it. And that's when consistency has been the easiest for me. But after I sort of crossed this threshold and like I basically completely quit Twitch streaming as soon as I got like partnered, which when you're supposed to start really monetizing. And same thing with music. I quit basically right after my biggest placements. But yeah, consistency, for me at least, is not just difficult. It's uniquely difficult because it doesn't just require you to do something boring. It requires you to do something boring that you don't want to do without ever knowing if the reward is going to match or be greater than your efforts. And that's not exactly it, because it's even worse than that. It actually requires you to expect that the output may be equal or lesser than your inputs. And that's where I start to think consistency becomes really difficult, because it's really easy to be consistent at things that have super variable reward. Playing, video games. Oh, I just noticed that this is kind of in the way. Yeah, like playing video games, opening up loot boxes, gambling. The reward is super variable there. And so you might put an input in and get less than you put in. But then there's also always that chance, right, that there's going to be some huge payoff. And I think that as long as that dream is alive of there being some huge payoff, it's easy to stay consistent. For me, I found this like really weird thing where when I start to see the fruits of my labor, and you spend all these hours, planting the seeds and watering them, and it comes time to harvest, and what you get back is you get a little something. I think that's like a make or break moment. At least it has been for me many times over, where I then decide, okay, well, gardening isn't for me. I'm not yielding what I want out of this activity, so let me move on to something else. Same thing could be the case for, working out, where, it takes, you're in the gym day in, day out, dieting a certain way, lifting heavy, and you see, okay, I've increased my 1 rep, 2 rep max by 10%, or whatever the case is. And that might to really put into perspective how long it's going to take you. And of course, especially with something like the gym, you're going to get more gains, especially earlier on, faster. It's actually going to just get even a worse rate of return over time, which I think can be really disheartening. And having that ability to just do it anyways, I think is really what separates the truly exceptional from the people who are good or okay, or even above average. In many areas of my life, I'm above average. In many areas of my life, I'm below average. But reflecting recently on some writing I did about myself, really looking through my career very objectively, I haven't been truly exceptional in any area. Been above average, been well above average, had success, had great success. But am I truly exceptional? And the honest, kind of painful answer at my age is no, I'm not. And consistency has been a big part of that. And, once again, not just the sort of, mindless, I show up every day type of consistency, which I can appreciate. I can understand why, to some people, that is. Sorry, just noticing all that. I can understand why to some people that is good enough. But to be truly exceptional, it requires a level beyond. It requires you to hit a certain point. You need to actually hit that threshold of, I'm going to be getting diminishing returns over time, and I am still going to, see this through. And Hormozy has a great little sort of caveat there, which is this is not about, it's not about consistency, but rather about discipline, which I think is a good sort of, has a good interplay with consistency, and really might even be more of what I'm talking about than consistency. This really might be more about discipline, which is that it's about doing things that you do not want to be doing, because it's easy to be disciplined or consistent with something that you want to be doing. Yeah, there's a lot in my life that I haven't figured out. There's really no sort of conclusive message to this, just sharing thoughts as they come up in my head as I try to solve for discipline and consistency, and becoming exceptional, at least what I believe is exceptional for myself. That's all for today, guys. Or girls.